You're watching Utah's #1 news station. This is 2 News at 5.
Right now, for everyone to stay out, stay as far away as they can.
And for good reason, more than 24 homes have burned to the ground as fire crews try to get a handle on the Wood Hollow fire that's burning right now in Sanpete County. Thanks for joining us for 2 News at 5. Another wildfire forcing evacuations of thousands of people.
Fire officials tell us that 1,000 to 2,000 people have been evacuated from Sanpete County. We want to give you the very latest information on this wildfire. This particular blaze is called the Wood Hollow fire. 25 to 30 homes have been destroyed. The blaze started on June 23rd. It has gobbled up close to 37,000 acres. Only 10% of the flames are contained, and the cause of the fire is still under investigation.
All right, we've got team coverage of this wildfire for you. Roxanne Bayanuku, unfortunately, spoke with a family that lost everything in the flames. Dan Rascone with the latest efforts to put out the blaze.
And Lindsay Storrs has a look at what this weather will do to hinder firefighters' efforts. Roxanne, we want to begin with you. You spoke with a family whose home was destroyed by this fire.
I did, Sean. I spoke with a couple of families, actually, and we're starting to see more and more families coming out of the woodwork, people who've lost everything. It's absolutely devastating. The official numbers say 25 to 30 homes and structures destroyed in this fire, but as we talk to these folks who managed to get up into their neighborhoods, they're telling us they are seeing a whole lot more homes burned than that. One of the families we talked with had actually left their home to get out and try to help some of the other people get out of their houses, and in the process, they lost absolutely everything.
I need a hair.
Dave and Janice Taylor make their home in a room at the Horseshoe Mountain Lodge.
Yeah, we might.
It's the only home they have left.
At first, you're just, there's always hope until you see it.
Dave Taylor works with Sanpete County Search and Rescue. When the fire started, Dave and Janice went to help.
When we were called to come and take over and handle security, we left everything. We had to walk away, and
they came back to this.
It kind of looks like maybe a picture of the moon. There's nothing. Nothing at all.
All that's left of their home.
Something that we built together. We did what? About 99% of the work on it. So
you did 99%, I watched.
They watched fire take it all away.
We got nothing.
What we have on.
A new pair of jeans. That's what we have.
Dozens more survey their losses.
He spent 2 years up here just living in a little trailer while he built his place.
The Lance family lost their cabin.
My husband didn't have any insurance on it, and so it's a total loss.
They don't know how they'll ever rebuild.
It's just amazing.
But in all the loss, there is gratitude. The Taylors lost their home, precious possessions, family pictures.
We have the memories, we just don't have the paper that they're on.
But they always have each other.
So we have everything. We have all our blessings.
So amazed by those people and their attitude. I mean, Janice Taylor sat there wearing a pair of shoes that someone had given to her. They literally left their homes with what they had on their backs, and that's all they have at this point. Now, we understand that the Sheriff's Office plans to escort some of the families up into the areas that burned and let them get a look at what they've lost. Meantime, the evacuation orders stand. You can see why. Still that fire burning heavily behind us, and you know, the Red Cross is still taking the evacuees at the North Sanpete High School. Thousands of people still out of their homes tonight, and we fear dozens of them, maybe more, have lost their homes. Back to you.
Yeah. Boy, that couple sure gives you perspective. You think you're having a bad day, and you see how they're handling the devastation of that, and it's really inspiring.
Yeah, amazing people.
All right, Roxanne, live in Sanpete County. Thanks, Roxanne.
Well, the Wood Hollow wildfire has caught the attention of the governor. He took a tour of the fire line today.
To say the least, he's got some real concerns about safety during this very dry and windy fire season.
Dan Rascone live in Sanpete County. And Dan, the governor spoke pretty boldly about those who may be starting these fires.
Johnny, he really did. You know, he came out very strongly about those who may start one of these fires and then cause them. He's basically saying, if you cause a fire, you're going to get the bill to fight that fire. That's how bold he was in regards to something like this. Now, we know in regards to this particular fire here behind us, it was not human cause. That's what they're saying. We also have a total number of acreage right now. The latest count, 38,928, just came from the command center there. That's what they're saying, that this fire, the acreage amount that it is destroyed. But again, the governor speaking pretty clearly about this fire.
It's not only frustrating, but it's aggravating.
Utah's commander-in-chief
This is serious business.
at the Wood Hollow fire,
This is not a free pass out there for anybody anymore.
sending out a word of warning to those who may start one of these wildfires.
When you start a fire, just expect you're going to get a big bill.
The blaze in San Pete County started on Saturday. The heavy winds and dry brush quickly turned it into a major wildfire. So far, the fire has torched 40,000 acres and more than 1,000 people have had to be evacuated.
And we want to get them back into their homes as quickly as we can.
But more tragically, 25 to 30 structures have been torched. Investigators believe about a dozen or more of those structures are people's primary homes.
We can't show enough empathy and compassion for those who are victims of these fires. To lose your home and all the possessions is just dramatic.
Watch what's going on around you.
Firefighters gathered early in the morning for a briefing before heading up the mountain. There are 260 of them from all over the country fighting this blaze, which is located in rough and difficult terrain. There are also 3 helicopters and an aircraft being used. But the main concern is the weather. Very hot, dry, and windy. And technically, fire season has not even started yet.
This is not the fire season. That's yet to come as we get into July and August. So the fact that we've had 402 fires already is a concern for all of us. There's going to be a cost, and we're going to have to bear that cost.
And I'm just told right now that 2 more fires have started in this region, so this is how quickly these fires can start. So we're now looking at 8 active fires, according to the command center here, that are taking place here in Utah. And of course, that concerns the governor with the expense. And again, as he mentioned there, what's interesting here is that we're really not even into fire season right now, as far as when things really start getting bad. So Mark and Shauna, that's yet to come. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Dan, we've been warned. Thanks so much.
Yeah, there is a reason we've got this early start to all this. Mild winter, dry summer, some very dangerous fires out there.
And Mother Nature may make things worse before she makes things better. Lindsay, lightning could be ahead and cause some serious problems.
Yeah, not only do we have the wind and the hot temperatures and those very dry grasses and trees, but now we're adding some dry thunderstorms on top of it as well, and I'll get to that in just a second. Wanted to show you our weather bug station from Moroni, which is very close to the Wood Hollow fire. Gusts today up to 27. You can see that right now the winds have calmed down, giving the firefighters a little break for the time being, but generally throughout the day they've been 10 to 20 miles per hour with a few gusts higher than that. Wind advisories have been issued for much of western Utah and eastern Nevada. Those go through 10 o'clock tonight for the shaded areas you see here. In this region we could see anywhere between 25 to 35 mile per hour winds with gusts as high as possibly 45 or even 50 miles per hour. As I mentioned, we are now adding thunderstorms on top of this. Radar is picking up on a little bit of precipitation falling from these thunderstorms, but I've been checking our weather bug stations from around this region, and only one of them has reported any precipitation. So most of what you're seeing here is not reaching the ground. What these thunderstorms are producing, very gusty winds and more lightning, as Mark and Shauna mentioned, that because of that, red flag warnings extended through Tuesday evening now, Mark and Shauna, at 9 p.m. So the fire danger will continue for the near future.
Wow, we got to be really careful out there.
Yes, we do.
Lindsay, thanks.
Well, police are on the lookout for a man they say was involved in 2 separate kidnapping cases early this morning. The first phone call to police was from a man who says 41-year-old Michael Forget stabbed him in the hand and locked him in the trunk of his car. Police tracked the car and found the victim locked in the trunk. While they were helping him get free, Forget took off. A little while later, police got another call from a woman who says a stranger broke into her home.
Same suspect, we believe, matching the same description, forced his way into another apartment complex not too far from here, where he held a lady against her will for a period of time.
Well, this suspect, Michael Forget, is still on the run tonight. If you know his whereabouts or anything about where he may be staying, you should call 911.
It was day 1 of the trial for a former BYU student charged with forcible sex abuse. 18-year-old Antonio Lacey is facing a total of 6 counts. Prosecutors say the California man confessed to his LDS bishop and gave police a statement saying he had sexually assaulted his roommates. One of the alleged victims told a jury today that he woke to find Lacey inappropriately touching him. Lead investigators say Lacey was apologetic toward his victims and is a former victim himself. The trial resumes tomorrow.
The United States Supreme Court striking down parts of an Arizona law against illegal immigrants today, but the High Court did leave one central provision of the law standing.
Utah has a similar enforcement law tied up now in federal court. Rod Decker's in our newsroom. And Rod, do we know now whether the Utah law is unconstitutional?
No, we don't. Attorney General Mark Shurtleff says he believes most of Utah's law will survive, but the ACLU says they plan to stop any Utah immigration enforcement efforts.
It's impossible to enforce these laws without racial profiling.
The ACLU claimed victory and said it will now try to wipe out any Utah efforts to enforce law against illegal immigrants.
And we will continue to vigorously litigate our challenge to HB 497.
There's going to be ongoing litigation.
But Attorney General Mark Shurtleff noted the court left standing the central provision of the Arizona law. That is, when lawmen arrest a person for a serious crime, they may check immigration status and hold illegal immigrants for federal authorities. Shurtleff predicts a similar provision in Utah law will now be held constitutional. The court also held warrantless arrests of illegal immigrants are unconstitutional, and Shurtleff says that provision will likely be struck down in the Utah law, too.
It's a bad day for Republicans.
Latino spokesman said the decision will energize Latinos against Republicans.
And certainly they're not going to vote for Governor Romney or the Republican Party.
And Republican Mark Shurtleff agreed Republicans hurt themselves on immigration.
All the lies that were told to pass Arizona-type law by Republicans, that's what hurts.
Now, the judge in the Utah case said he would wait for the Supreme Court to decide the Arizona case, then he'd have a better idea of what the Constitution says about these things. Now the Arizona case is decided. Both sides say they're up for a fight. There'll probably be a trial and then a decision on Utah's law. Back to the studio.
And Rod, I think Obamacare comes up Thursday from the Supreme Court.
Almost surely it does. The Supreme Court isn't under any obligation, but they always in the past have decided cases argued in the spring by the end of June, and Thursday is the last day in June to decide it.
You may be standing here with another update on the Supreme Court.
We may have another big case.
All right.
Rod, thanks. Well, an alarming number of children have at least one serious allergic reaction per year. More than half of the episodes happen while the child's being watched by someone other than a parent. Find out what you can do to prevent it from happening to your child.
And it's a crime that only takes seconds to commit, removing one of these tailgates, and it could leave you out thousands. Coming up in a live report, I'll have the details on a rash of tailgate thefts.